go pick up these airbags, come back.
We've got our airbag out. How simple.
There's your problem. She's split across here.
So guys, this morning we've come from Kununurra down through, down along the Great Northern Highway through to Halls Creek. Stopped in at Halls Creek and fueled up. So we're full and now we're heading west towards the Tanami Road turn-off. We've just been talking to some other guys that have just come off the Tanami Track, and they said there's a lot of road works up this end. Air down if need be. There is a few little corrugations, but the road is pretty good according to them. So we'll see how we go. So we're on the Tanami Track. Bitumen was really lovely for the first, say, 30-40 kilometres, and then we're back on the dirt. A lot of road works, the northern end of the Tanami Road.
The dirt's been pretty good though, as much as dirt can be.
They are. But we've got about 105 kilometres to go before we hit Wolf Creek Crater, and we'll spend the night out there.
Yeah, it's 82 k's to the turn off, and then obviously it's about 20 k's out to the crater.
Yeah. So we'll see you there, Wolf Creek.
Righto, so obviously my airbag on the driver's side is down. What I'm going to do is just turn them on. As you can see, 46 and 0. Alright, we had to drop the left hand side down to flatten the van out. Now I'm just going to grab the fob and I'm going to climb underneath and have a bit of a look underneath to see if I can see what's going on. I'll then pump the airbag up and see what I can see. See is that the airbag is actually down. If you look over to that airbag, it's nice and round and firm. I'm just going to go forward and have a look at the other airbags. Okay, that one is completely down, whereas that one again is up. I'm just going to pump them up now and see what happens. Okay, air just went straight into that one. Now I need to find out what is actually going on. You can hear the actual airbag compressor very, very loud. Can you take this around and just see what the controller's doing?
Well, it hasn't registered yet. 45, 82. 81. And now it's flashing. So it's a slow leak. Maybe. Yeah, now it's down to 80.
Yeah, I'm watching it go down. Okay, what I've noticed is I'm leaking a fair bit of fluid here. So maybe it's not the airbags, but maybe it's the shockies that are buggered. As you can see, the fluid's dropping on the ground. And the airbag's slowly going down. Or one of the culprits being the airbags. But what's happened is, because the airbags have gone down, we've hit the bump stops, but I've absolutely shattered the bump stops. So the bump stops are now gone, so there's no bump stops. I will have a look at the back one to see what damage has been done there, but I'll just give you a bit of a demo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pump her up. You can now hear the air coming out, and I can feel it. So, right there, you can actually hear and feel the air coming out. So, I've rung the guys up at Kununurra. We're going to go for a day trip. I'm just going to shoot back. That'll be my day gone, and I'll grab an airbag and come back, and I'm going to pull the whole airbag out and replace it. So we'll see what happens. So going to head back to Kununurra. I just looked on my little Google Maps and it's telling me, which I don't believe it, but hey, stranger things have happened, 5 hours and 51 minutes. 512 kilometres. So I'll get there at 3 o'clock this afternoon. So I'll go pick up these airbags, come back, change the airbag over, that way I can drive the van back tomorrow. Well, morning, it's 7 o'clock, and I actually got back last night at about 11 o'clock. Sorry, no I didn't. So I'm still half asleep. I actually got back at 9 o'clock at night. So she was an 11-hour day. Wasn't the best, but we did what we had to do, and we got up and back. I got up there and picked up a couple of spare airbags, thanks to Coventry Machine Works Kununurra. They even gave me a stubby cooler and a little sticker. Coventry Machine Works, give it to us, we'll fix it for you. Little pun on the old Gibb River Road. So these guys are actually the people that Cruise Master have made as their go-to person in Kununurra. They have the other guy down at Broome, and this is their guy up this end. Anyway, it was nice enough to come in on a Sunday, and I never met him, but he left this in his yard, and I went in and picked it up, and what it is 2 airbags. So what I've got to do is undo these 2 bolts on the top, this one on the bottom, put it in, and then connect the airbag through this John Guest fitting. Pump her up, and that should get us on the road. So I'm going to get under there now. I'm just going to get the right tools, and yeah, we'll see how we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to undo this little John Guest fitting. We're not looking at tuner. Undo this little fitting here by pushing that in and pulling out the wire or the hose for the air. I'm then going to undo the bolt underneath here, and then undo the 2 Allen keys. There's one at the top there, one on that side, and I'll be able to remove the airbag. But first, what I'm going to have to do is probably jack this bar up here, jack it up, which will make it easier to pull the airbag out. So I'm going to give that a crack. Right, so I've got the nut off. Next thing I've got to do is remove this. So I'm going to have to put the camera down, so I'm going to need 2 hands. And I need to, oh, I'm getting a bit of dirt in my eyes, but I need to tinker around and maybe get a tool to actually push that and pull that. So giving you a rough idea of what I'm actually doing. It's just like the plumbing thing. You've got to push this outer ring in and then pull the hose at the same time. So I'm going to need both hands. Okay, so my next problem is the jack does not go high enough. So I've just called on Dave, and he's getting a little black box for me, which will give me a bit more height, and then that should be able to jack the van up. So I'm just having a look here, and we'll see what we can do. Actually, I just thought about it. My next best thing will be to use my Boss jockey wheel legs. What I found out was my jack wasn't tall enough, as I showed you a minute ago, so I tried to use this little black box, and that still didn't get me high enough. So I resorted back to the original Boss legs. As you can see, I've extended the leg up that end and raised it. I've also extended the leg up that end and raised it. And what it's actually done, if you can look in here now, it's lifted the whole chassis up off of the airbag. And if I lift the airbag up like that, bang, we've got our airbag out. How simple was that? When I worked out using the Boss jockey legs is the best bet. Alright, instead of mucking around with jacks and all the other rubbish, I should have just gone straight to Boss and got myself out of trouble. Remember, with those legs, they'll hold 1800 kilo per leg. So you can physically lift it up and raise all your tyres off the ground. But we don't need to do that at the moment. Alright, you do that if you want to change your tyre. Therefore, you don't need to carry a jack and excess weight in your van. What we're going to do now is put the new airbag in. I've just got to undo the bolts at the top and underneath. We'll put him in, we'll lower back down, we'll plug the air in, and we should be cooking with gas, or at least air. Anyway guys, we'll see what happens. I've just dropped the airbag back in. So she's fitting under there nice and snug, like a boss. I've now got to lower it down so that that little stop up there goes inside the airbag, and then I can put the screws through there into the actual airbag itself. It means I can spin it so that it's proper. But to do that, I'm going to have to lower the legs, to lower this arm back down, and then we can start doing it. So I'll just jump out and do that now. Just got to go up the front. So when you're doing this, you can't go fully down, you've got to do short adjustments. As you can see, it's going down.
Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming.
Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to climb back under and make it
just the compression, the airbag. It's still a little bit, a fraction more, yeah. So that's sitting on the.
Because they're not even. All right, so it's still got to come down further because it's not even touching, so it's got to come down.
Keep coming. Keep coming. And little, just a fraction more. Yep, there, done.
I'll do this side a bit more. So now we're going to tighten the bolt up underneath. I had a bloke comment on my YouTube chat where I was changing the Boss jockey legs. And he said, as soon as I see a person using a shifter on a nut, I stop following. I said, yeah, no worries, mate. Thanks for your help. Can't afford all the tools, but since then I've actually lashed out and bought some. Righto, that's nice and tight. The last thing I've got to do is put the air hose back in through the John Guest fitting. So I'll grab my little pliers, place that up in there. Oh, yeah. Getting sandblasted. Push that in, push the hose all the way in, and right now, hey Roz, can you pass me the fob and turn on the airbags? Okay, this is going to be the test to see whether I've achieved what I want to achieve. Let's put some air in. Ho ho ho, look at that. It actually works. I think I've surprised myself. Maybe I can call myself a mechanic. A bush mechanic even. Righto, what we're going to do is, obviously you can still see that there's fluid leaking out of the shockies. I can't get any of them till later on this week, and we'll get them changed. But that is how simple it is to change an airbag, especially when you have the Boss jockey legs. I can tell you, they are, and I hate this word, a game changer.
Game changer!
So yeah, if you don't have any, give the guys a call, get yourself some, because it'll get you out of so many sticky situations and will save you a lot of heartache. Righto guys, I'm going to get out and maybe have a beer and celebrate that I've actually achieved something. So just to show you exactly what's happened. So this is the old airbag. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend, not be-tend, I'm going to pretend that I'm the actual pump. Air compressor. So I'm going to actually put air into here, and I'll show you exactly what has happened. So as you put air in, there we go, she starts to pump up. The more it pumps up, your airbag grows, all right? And that's how it works. Now, I'll show you what actually caused our drama. So you can start to hear the air coming out. Watch this. Can you hear that? I'll show you, I'll keep going. Bang. There's your problem. She's split across here. And that is exactly why we lost all air out of both of the, because the air came out of here, also came out of the other airbag. Once it was down, it was then on the bump stop. Obviously the hammering trashed the bump stop, and I showed you what the bump stop looked like. And yeah, so there you have it. Okay, I'd just more problems that you get on the road. I'd just like to thank Aaron from Space Tech down in Mildura. What happened was, obviously our Starlink keeps telling us we got Starlink, but not connected, or connected without internet is what it actually says. So I got in, and being the half-assed boffin that I am, I tinkered around, and what I did was I found that the problem that I had, well obviously because of the airbag, well there you go, because of the airbags, the problem that I had came down on the bump stops, as I've been banging on, metal on metal. So instead of you having a boxing glove and tapping yourself in the face, it'd be like Mike Tyson with his bare hands tapping you in the face. And then obviously the damage inside your head with your brain shaking around, well that's what's happened inside my van. Now in amongst all that, the batteries have jumped around and have crushed a cable. Now I just rung Aaron at Space Tech. We did a bit of fault finding. Obviously me trying to do me fault finding, I pulled a few things apart. I'm just going to take you in here and show you what's happened. So underneath, you'll see where the cord is going into the yellow hole, and then there's a cord beside it. Well, I had them in the wrong hole for starters, so I put it in the first little hole and not where it should be, where it is now. The next thing I did was the data and dish cables. I had them back to front, so we swapped them over. Now on top of the little Space Tech box, there should be 2 lights flashing. Now what Aaron just said to me on the phone is, obviously I've blown a fuse inside it. Now, when I was just having a look around and a bit of fault finding, this is what we just found. If you can see, I'm going to try and point to it. Whoops, dropped the light. If you see here, that's where the battery has actually trashed the cord. So the cord is trashed. So that is probably why we're not getting any internet. But what Aaron's going to do is, he's going to send one out to me in Kununurra. He's going to express post it and get us a new cable. I'll get some fuses in Kununurra and replace in the box, and bang, we'll be back online and we'll have internet. So that's another problem that we've solved today. But thanks to Aaron from Space Tech for taking my call, and yeah, being the legends that they are, have helped me out, and that'll get us back our Starlink fixed. What are you doing?
Fixed. Thanks, Aaron.
So what I've done, I've bypassed the old cable that I had in there, placed that in, I unscrewed the Space Tech power, star power, and now on top there's some little lights flashing, but I replaced the fuse. So I actually had some, which was funny. Okay, so what I've done is I've put a new cable in. At the moment I've just got it sitting in here loose. It's a lot longer because it's the one that's out of my RAM. So I've taken it out of there and plugged it into the star power box, so you can see where it's going and where it says dish. Now I undone the star power, those 4 screws on top. I pulled all the cables out, pulled it off the wall, undone the screws, and there was some little fuses in there. There's 2 fuses. What I found was one of the fuses had blown. I just grabbed the fuse. So this is a little culprit here, and it's blown. Anyway, luckily I had these little bags, little spares in there, and there's some small ones. So how good is that? That is awesome. And now, if you look at here, Baba online, woohoo, cooking with gas. And we have one happy Roz. She's over there doing some videos with a little gimp arm, but yeah, she's waving like the Queen. Anyway, I'm kicking goals today, so I've replaced an airbag. I've fixed my Starlink. The only job I've got left now is to get the hot water where the exhausters come away, get that sorted, and get back to Kununurra, and we'll get the shockies done when the shockies come in. But I tell you what, I'm learning as I go, and I'm actually enjoying it. Anyway guys, catches.
Morning guys. We've been here at Wolf Creek Crater now for the past 3 nights.
This is the day use parking area and the track up to the crater rim. There's a bit of information here at the start, all about the Wolf Creek meteorite crater, things to know, all about the National Park of the Kimberleys, on the edge of the desert, talking about the plants and animals, and then talking about a blast from the past. Was it a meteor or a meteorite? Where did they come from, and all that sort of information. So make sure you have a read if you're coming out here to Wolf Creek before you head up to the rim, and enjoy the view. But yeah, we've been here for the, this is our third night. We're heading off this morning with good different adventures. Dave has fixed the Starlink. He's changed an airbag because we blew an airbag. And now he's tinkering around a little bit more this morning, just to make sure everything's good before we head off again. What are you doing up there, babe?
The little fans drop out after you go over the corrugations. They shouldn't, but in this one they actually do. So I'm just sticking the fans back in. If you look up the top, there's 3 little blue fans. Just after you've been over corrugations on that, just check them, make sure they're in. They shouldn't come out, but in this particular one, they've dropped out a few times. So that's something that will get looked at and fixed under warranty. I've spoke to Trav, and yeah, he's the service manager at Titanium, and he's aware of it, and he's told me that it shouldn't happen, and they'll replace it.
Yeah, so that's just another one of our little tiny issues we have, but we will get that fixed. Yeah, the sun's coming up. Just been packing up the van, checking everything. I'll double check inside the van, make sure everything's good. So I normally start my routine up this end of the van. I make sure my windows are all locked, my cupboards are locked, my fans are up, my TV's in place, my bed is made, anything on the floor is packed away. I usually skip the kitchen and the club lounge to last, but I come into my bathroom, I make sure my doors are secure, my windows are secure, everything's packed away behind the toilet, the shower is completely packed away. I check my cupboards by going like this so I know they're completely closed. All my buttons are in. I have my coffee machine on the floor with some other stuff. My fridge, my big drama Dometic fridge, which opened on our way out here because of the door which was broken, and you can see up here in around up there, and because it was broken caused the door to open, the shelves to break and everything to fall out. So that will be fixed under warranty as well when we get back to Brisbane. But I'm going to put the trusty old 100-mile-an-hour tape on this fridge and freezer before we head off. Sink, I normally keep my little plant in here and just a few things that are on the bench. I make sure all my latches are closed. Over this side of the van, all my computer items are tucked away. The table is completely bare except for the cushions and a couple of blankies. I also go along up here and just go like this, just to make sure everything's closed, because I don't want things flying out and swinging around the van while it's in motion. Everything else is secure. I'll take my shower cap off my sat dish. And if you've never seen this, guys, I actually bought this on Amazon or Temu. It's a thick lined shower cap, and it covers the lights on the Sat King because I sleep there, and if we've got the Sat King on, the lights just shine your face. So this fits perfectly snug over that when we pull up. And then it just stays in the little pouch up here when we travel. But anyway, guys, that's my pack-up routine. I will adjust the TV so it's in the travelling position. My Mickey Mouse mat got damaged when we arrived because of all the cream and eggs and shit that fell out of the fridge. But other than that, everything's good. And my last final check is before I leave the van. So I make sure AC mode's off, my pumps are off, my aircon is off if need be. I come down here under the fridge as an extra security, and I turn off, oh, where are they? I turn off the pumps. You can see the little things there. Turn that in the closed position and do that. After I turn off those pumps, I normally run water in my sink so it doesn't any extra drip out. I can do it in the bathroom. See? Removes the water in the lines and stops anything dripping when you're travelling.
So that was our trip, our second trip to Wolf Creek Crater. We ended up spending 3 nights out there. due to a bit of damage that we had and having to go back to Kununurra to get an airbag.
Yep.
But the sunsets were pretty glowing. The weather during the day was very warm, but very windy.
But as soon as that sun went down, very cool. It got down to 10 degrees this morning. And the mozzies are out of a night time as well.
Yeah, which was strange. Obviously the only water around there was the water that was in the actual crater itself.
Yeah.
So I don't know why there was mozzies around where we were.
But we did stay 3 nights, and that wasn't in, we weren't intending to stay 3 nights. We're only going to stay 1 or 2 nights, but because we blew an airbag, Dave and the other Dave from Good Different Adventures left myself and Amanda there yesterday, and they
The day before.
And they took a drive into Kununurra to grab some airbags and then come all the way back out to us, fixed it, and now we're on our way back because we've still got leaky shocks. And also need to get our diesel hot water system looked at because it's blowing smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a blockage or what, but we'll get that looked at while we're back here.
Absolutely, but we're where are we now? We're still on the Tanami Road. We're in the road works at the moment, heading towards the Great Northern Highway.
We'll hit Richmond soon.
Yeah, but the road out to Wolf Creek from this main drag is atrocious. You need to slow down. And we say it time and time again, there's so many people travelling, get yourselves a bloody UHF radio, and if you're going to pass somebody, if you're coming up behind them, call them and say, hey mate, you mind if I pass? Don't just speed past and flick up rocks and piss everybody off, because it's just disgusting. It's disgusting behaviour. Just slow down and take it easy. Yeah.
Well, there you go. So, yes, not all smooth sailing. Obviously, stop, do your checks, and have a good look around your van and vehicle. We obviously punctured an airbag, and not through our own fault. It was apparently the airbag was faulty. So I wasted 11 hours driving all the way back to Kununurra and back, but I had to do it, otherwise we couldn't move the van the next day. So yeah, I didn't even get time to walk up the top of the crater. However, I managed to get the drone up and have a good look around and see some sunsets, which was pretty awesome. And I've been up there before. Anyway, it's that time again, joke time with Dave. So I've been walking around the ship and I've asked so many people, what does LGBTQ stand for? No one's given me a straight answer. Gotchas.